It happened on a night I'll never forget. The company event was supposed to be about celebration, smiles, laughter, recognition. But instead, it turned into a moment of humiliation. The CEO's daughter, someone with influence just because of her last name, walked across the hall, eyes sharp, voice dripping with mockery. She looked me up and down and said loud enough for others to hear, "Do you really think you belong here? You're nothing special." The crowd chuckled nervously. I felt my chest tighten. My mind froze. It's one thing to face criticism from peers, but when it comes from someone with power, it cuts deeper. Everyone waited for my response. What she didn't know, what nobody knew, was that in my briefcase I had something that could silence her insult without a single angry word. Something powerful enough to shift the entire room's perception in seconds. Let's rewind. That event wasn't the first time I had been underestimated. For months, I'd heard whispers. He's hardworking, sure, but replaceable. He's doing okay, but nothing extraordinary. And then, the CEO's daughter gave those whispers a face and a voice. She said out loud what others only thought. Rejection. Doubt. Humiliation. That's the basic cycle anyone goes through in a workplace where their value is questioned. You wonder, maybe they're right. Maybe I don't belong here. Maybe my work really is invisible. But here's the truth. Most of us don't show what we've built. We keep our struggles, our late nights, our breakthroughs hidden. And when they're hidden, people assume they don't exist. That day, I realized, evidence speaks louder than pride. You can defend yourself with words, but it's proof, clear, undeniable proof, that ends the argument. Oh, what was in that briefcase? It wasn't money. It wasn't some secret weapon. It was years of preparation condensed into documents. Reports I had authored that had saved the company thousands. Strategy blueprints I had worked on late into the night. Emails of appreciation from international partners. And most importantly, letters of recommendation signed by some of the most respected people in our industry. These weren't casual compliments. They were endorsements that carried weight. People outside the company saw my value even when insiders overlooked it. And that, right there, is the advanced lesson. You can't depend only on those close to you to see your worth. Sometimes, you need external credibility to shine a light inside. The insult hit like a slap. But instead of reacting emotionally, I decided to let silence work. I smiled faintly. I didn't argue back. People expected a reaction, but I gave none. That confused her. Because most people, when insulted, lash out or retreat. But calmness? That unsettles the aggressor. I knew my moment would come. After a few minutes, the conversation shifted. Someone nearby asked about a recent project. Perfect opening. I placed my briefcase on the table, opened it slowly, and pulled out one of the signed documents. It was a strategic plan endorsed by a global partner, praising my work as innovative and indispensable. The room went quiet. The CEO's daughter leaned closer. Her face changed. In that instant, my dignity was restored, not by shouting, but by evidence. What happened next surprised even me. People who had been silent during her insult suddenly spoke up. One said, "I didn't know you handled that project." Another said, "Wait, you were behind that success?" The narrative shifted. From being mocked to being admired. From invisible to essential. And the CEO's daughter? She couldn't hide her discomfort. She had tried to reduce me in front of others, but now the spotlight had flipped. That's when I understood something basic but powerful. Respect doesn't come from who speaks loudest in the room. It comes from who can back up their story. Words fade. Proof remains. Here's where the deeper lesson lies. Preparation. Most people only prepare for tasks, deadlines, meetings. Few prepare for moments of insult. But those moments come, and when they do, if you're unprepared, you break. My briefcase wasn't just leather and paper. It was foresight. I had collected praise, metrics, evidence not for bragging, but for defense, for survival. Think of it like insurance. You don't expect the fire, but when it comes, you're glad you paid the premium. Collect your evidence. Save those emails. Document your wins. Keep a record of your growth. Because one day, when someone tries to strip your worth, those records will be your shield. Now let's go advanced. Perception management. It's not enough to just have proof. You need to shape how others see you daily. Share small wins. Drop updates in casual conversations. Let people see the work, not just the results. Tell stories of challenges you solved. Speak with confidence, not arrogance.
Why?
Because perception builds anticipation. So when the proof finally comes out, people aren't shocked, they're impressed. This is how leaders move. They don't wait to be insulted to show their worth. They create an environment where insults bounce off because reputation already precedes them. That, of course, insults will still happen. Some people are threatened by quiet excellence. They mock what they don't understand. That's why emotional control is crucial. I could have snapped that night. I could have raised my voice, humiliated her back. But what would that achieve? More chaos, more damage. Instead, I used calmness as my weapon. Calmness gave me time. Time to wait for the right moment to bring out the briefcase. Time to let curiosity replace laughter. That balance of patience and timing, that's what flipped the script. When you control your emotions, you control the room. After that event, something changed. Not just in her, but in everyone. My credibility skyrocketed. Invitations came. People sought my input. Colleagues who once overlooked me now respected me. And the CEO's daughter? She kept her distance. But I didn't hold a grudge. Because the point was never to destroy her. The point was to show my value, to remind myself that no insult could erase years of effort. That's the ultimate power of preparation. It turns humiliation into opportunity. It transforms enemies into silent witnesses of your worth. So here's what I want you to take away. In life, you will be insulted. Maybe by someone powerful, maybe by someone loud. Don't crumble. Don't explode.
Prepare.
Build your briefcase, not literally, but metaphorically. Fill it with proof, skills, endorsements, results. Train yourself to stay calm when belittled. And when the time comes, reveal what you've built, not with anger, but with dignity. Because one day, just like me, you'll face a moment where someone says, "You don't belong." And in that moment, you'll smile, open your briefcase, and let the truth speak louder than any insult. You know, sometimes life places us in situations where people judge us too quickly, based on nothing but assumptions. That night at the event, when the CEO's daughter thought she could embarrass me, she had no idea that the very person she was laughing at was holding something that would change the entire room's opinion in seconds. That briefcase wasn't just a leather box. It carried proof of my hard work, my dedication, and my ability to create something valuable. And the moment it opened, the tables turned. Respect replaced laughter. Silence replaced mockery. And opportunity replaced rejection. So if you've ever felt belittled or underestimated, remember this. Your worth isn't defined by who laughs at you today. It's defined by the strength of what you carry inside you.